Hello, friends. I was like testing out the recording button and then I just started recording. All right, so I am going to do the transits with you guys for this full moon. And hopefully I can pull up to the screen the images that I wanted to share with you of each, both the natal chart, but also the current human design chart, because I think it's valuable to be able to see it. And of course you would, sir, I would be like, always forget to just do this ahead of time. It would make my life so much easier, wouldn't it? Okay. So, all right, here's going to be that one. Here's going to be that one. Cool. All right, darlings. So we're going to pull up first the astrology chart and we are going to look at that. All right, so here we have the chart of the moment, and actually I did it for exactly when the moon would be full, which is tomorrow. And you can see the moon right here. It is in the sign of Libra. And you can see the aspects, some very clear oppositions and trines happening. And so right down here, these are the aspects that we're going to go over, these primary ones, the oppositions and the trines. And then we're going to talk about this sun-moon opposition as well, and this Chiron opposition with moon as well. Okay, so let's dive in a little bit. First, we have this sun opposing moon at 180 degrees, pretty much perfectly. So the sun being identity and being a person's identity, and also the way that a person is seen or perceived, opposing the moon, which is our emotional world, our emotional well-being, how we nurture, how we are nurtured. This definitely feels like a time of personal strife. That's my son who's beating at the door. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on a second. Okay, we're back. Okay, this is usually why I film these, by the way, when he's in school, because otherwise it's just all the time. Soon there's going to be a baby too in these videos for you guys, so that'll be fun. Okay, so with the sun opposing the moon, because there's this tension between emotional well-being and identity, there's this feeling of like unwellness, lack of energy, feeling lost, feeling like you don't really know how to move forward in whatever projects or identity things you're currently working on or building. There can be this sense of discord between who you are and the things that you need emotionally, confusion, tension. I talked about that in my top 3 video. And then there's this opposition between the moon and Venus. So Venus being really well known for being the symbol for relationships and personal relationships. This is accented, this tension and lack of wellness moves from the identity space into the relationship space. And so you'll probably see a rise in tensions either in your relationship to your children, your lovers, your family in general. That's definitely been true for me in the larger area of my family. So just be really mindful, because these two oppositions are super strong and you're likely to say things that you don't mean, don't want to say, hurt people's feelings, get your feelings hurt, things of that nature. The last opposition that I'm going to talk about before we move into the trines, which are the easier aspects or the more auspicious ones, is Chiron opposing moon. So Chiron is the mythological figure of the wounded healer. So typically when Chiron shows up in someone's chart, it is the area of their life, and you can find this in your own astrological chart if you do it. This Chiron symbol is right here. It's like it's like a K with a circle at the bottom. Chiron illuminates in a person's natal chart where their wounding is. typically tends to be also where their greatest opportunity for transformation and maybe purpose, like life purpose, lies. In this case, Chiron is in Aries, which is the ruler of the first house of identity. And with this opposition, this emotional tension. So for me, I interpret that personally as a heightened potential for feelings of depression, low self-esteem, anxiety, stuckness, comparisonitis. It holds the potential for you to be feeling those types of way about yourself. From a collective or a more mundane angle, I would probably say same. That we are currently, as a nation, as a collective, going through this identity crisis, where there's this real deep wound that's being exposed on a collective level, and we are trying to move through it. But all of this tension in the astrology does not help, and quite frankly amplifies that feeling of, I don't know who I am or who we are or what we stand for. So those are the three oppositions. Now there are three trines that are really auspicious. There's Moon trine Mars. So here's the Moon and Mars is right here, and they make a trine. Now with the Moon and Mars being the planet of action, the trine is an easier aspect. I don't like to use good and bad because I don't think that's accurate. I think it's more of like a challenging aspect, like an opposition or a square versus a conjunction or a trine, which feels like an easier, softer aspect maybe. So there is this trine between the Moon and Mars, and the Mars is a planet of action and, assertive movement forward. So if you can have your emotions in check and feel really clear, and first of all, if you are an emotional authority in human design, making sure that you are living that authority truly and that you are feeling out your feelings before you take action or make decisions is so important. But there is a high potential for you to find success in making these empowered decisions forward, as long as that emotional wavelength is honored, emotional authority. There's also a Moon trine Saturn, which is right here. Here is that trine, Saturn and Moon. Now, this is where I talked about in my earlier video, my top three, that discipline is really, really important. So Saturn is a planet of tradition. It's the planet of tradition and structure and discipline. Now, with this trine, there is emotional well-being stabilized by pragmatism, by structure, by discipline. And also there's this thing about seeking support from elders. Now, I don't like authority figures. Also, it's not just older people, but like people who have walked the path before you, people who have a wisdom that you don't yet have. A lot of value in that, and also leaning into the structure and discipline in your life to stabilize you emotionally. Then this final trine of North Node trine Moon. So here is the North Node right now, and here is the Moon. So the North Node is about where you are going in your life. So if you're reading a natal chart, having your chart read, your South Node is where you've come from. Your North Node is where you're going. So the North Node of society, since I'm reading this really collectively, moving into Gemini, okay, which is it is the house of higher thinking. It is the house of community affairs, okay? So right now I see this trine as being a very auspicious thing, as we are bringing this new emotional awareness as a collective into questioning certain rhetorics and narratives that are running rampant right now, that affect community affairs and that affect high-level decisions. So I see that as being extremely positive for us. Again, as I mentioned in my short video, the moon in Libra is a ruler of the 7th house of partnerships. So right now there's probably going to be this augment on partnerships and relationships in your life. Be extremely conscious of that. Moving into the human design, I'm going to oh, I just realized I wasn't screen sharing. My bad, guys. What a trip. Okay, so here's the human design chart right here. So what's interesting about this particular transit chart is that you're going to see the moon move through 3 different gates by the time that this is over and done. So we're starting with the moon in gate 46. And so here's what's interesting. It moves from gate 46 to gate 18 to gate 48 before it moves out of its, excuse me, I'm filming this late, out of its full moon position. So gate 46 is known as determination of self. So this is really a love of physical body, a love of fitness, a love of well-being, a drive to health, this urge to be healthy and live healthily. And so the moon is currently sitting in that gate 46, which is right here. Okay. Which is also it's an identity gate. So what does that mean? That means it's in the G center, which is in a gate, in the center of identity and love, self-love, love of others. Then it moves into gate 18, which I did not circle on this chart, but it's right here. Gate 18, you're not going to see that right up here because I'm actually like, oh no, what did I do? I'm tracking the thing on the app. This is like a still shot. So it's going to move into this gate right here. Gate 18. Gate 18 is called the gate of correction. Okay, so we start here, which is seeking for health, wanting to be healthier. Think about this from like a collective level, right? Dealing with this virus situation. It's like, okay, everybody spins into this obsession with health, this obsession with taking care of body, but it tips almost into this unhealthy place, correct? And so then what happens next? Well, what happens next is we enter the gate of correction, and the gate of correction tells us that there is a better way to handle the situation. Okay. There's a better way to do this health thing than what we're currently doing. And then it ends up in gate 48, which I thought I knew where it was. And now I'm like, I've lost it. Where is it? Is that 45 or 48? My goodness, I cannot even see my own screenshot. That's how bad my eyesight is. No, I think this is gate of 48. So it moves into the gate of 48, yeah, because it's a splenic gate. Moves into the gate 48, which is the gate of depth. Okay, so this, first of all, 18 and 48 are both on the spleen. Okay, so the spleen is the center. We talked about this being the center of identity. And I do feel like this virus really attacked everybody's identity on like a core level. The spleen is about the immune system function, but it's also about fear, which has been extremely illuminated during this entire situation. So with this, the moon transitioning into this gate, the gate of depth is about fearing that you don't have enough information, that you don't know enough, that you don't have all the information. I definitely see that right now when it comes to this public health crisis, where there's a lot of questions and a lot of people are saying, wait a minute, what is going on? Are we doing the right thing? Are we moving in the right direction? And it's interesting to see the moon, which again is this emotional well-being, move through these 3 gates just in one full moon period, almost telling like the story, right, about where we've been and where we're going. Interesting to note too in this chart that only the solar plexus and the root are defined right now. The solar plexus is again the seat of emotional. So when we talk about having an emotional authority, it's because you have this center defined in your chart. Emotional well-being, and then also the root, which is, I mean, grounding, things of that nature, but also controls adrenaline and our access to that. And these are the only 2 that are currently defined and connected by a single channel. There's only one channel that's connected this time, which is a channel 1949, right here to here. Now, what's interesting about this channel that I personally find unique, they address this channel as being a very sensitive channel, and it's moving away from the search for money, objects, things, towards a sense of belonging in community and unity, which I found to be so spot on for where we are right now. I feel like the old guard is falling apart. The selfish kind of pursuit of self-interest that is very typical of our planet and of our government is sort of disintegrating, and more people are like, we need to move in this direction, and we care about our emotional well-being, and we care about the well-being of other people, that it's not just ourselves, and we want to see a world that feels like we belong in it and that feels united, versus a world that is just like constantly in the pursuit of things that give you that self-interested rush or push. There's 2 other gates that I illuminated. The sun right up here, gate 17, which is known as the gate of opinions. So I thought we have an open head now. So in the last time I gave a reading, there was definition in both of these centers, and right now there's not in the ajna. I'll get back to that in a second. And then gate 35 for the north node, the direction that we are moving into. Okay, so the gate of opinions is about offering opinions based on hypotheses. So in the mind, you receive all of these ideas and you have all these concepts in here at the same time. And in this gate, we are giving opinions based on the things that we are observing and putting together. I can see this a lot collectively in all of the different quote unquote conspiracy theories or conspirafacts that are coming out about this health crisis, about the politics, about all these different things that are happening. There's a lot of people that are putting forth content and material criticizing or offering opinions on what is happening, that really is shaping our identity as a nation. And I think the fact that it's in the sun sign, which is an identity symbol, is very significant. And then the north node I wanted to talk about, because as we mentioned before, north node is a direction that we happen to be moving in, which is in gate 35. And the gate 35 is in the throat here in this human design. And it is the gate of change. Okay. So inside of this gate, we have the distinct feeling that something needs to change, that we need a change, and we are beginning to vocalize and verbalize what we think those changes should be. Now, where do I see this exemplified is in seeing a lot of people in my own community attend these, county meetings and express their opinions and their beliefs and their concerns with county commissioners. Seeing a lot of people that have never been in the world of politics suddenly run for political office or political seat and want to make their voices heard. There's a lot of this awakening to change and to a new sense of responsibility for others as well as self that I feel is really activated. And so I don't really see a direction for us that's super specific going forward. Like I can't predict how these gates are going to change by the time we have another new moon. But I don't necessarily see the tensions easing up for a hot minute. Hopefully by the next time that I do a transit report, that is not true and we do have some relief, but as of right now, it seems like we're just going to kind of be in a hotbed of tension for a minute. So be really mindful, take care of yourselves, and be really aware of the communications that you're having and where you're spending your energy, and if it's worth you spending your energy in those places and with those people. All right, my friends, be well until we meet again.